Hello everyone, and welcome to the Very Reasonable Pilots podcast. I'm your host, Charles. Along with me as always, my co-host, editor, producer, co-pilot, and gunner, Jacob Gloth. Hello Jacob, how are you doing today?
I am swell.
Are you sweltering in this heat?
It's not that hot here.
Is it not? Good.
No.
It's pretty warm here.
It's like 70.
The UK is supposedly going to get the...
70 degrees Fahrenheit. 73 Fahrenheit right now.
Ooh, that's nice. That's lovely. The
It's
UK
like the
is
same
apparently
weather every day.
going to be the hottest ever recorded on Monday.
Oh,
Tomorrow.
that's exciting.
That is exciting. I hope I don't melt.
Well, only sugar melts, so
that is
it'll be
true.
fine.
Nothing else in the world melts. New idea for a TV show. A world where nothing melts. Except for sugar, I guess.
Except for sugar. Speaking of new ideas for TV show, this week, every week on the Very Reasonable Pilots podcast, we pitch new TV shows. As we
do we? That's
but
exciting.
This week, we have to do something a bit harder, which is pitch it off the top of our heads.
Off the dome, you might say.
Oh,
off the bloody dome.
Yeah. Off the dome, as Charlie always says.
It's my catchphrase.
Anyway, so,
and this is usually an episode where we meander a lot.
Yeah, because it's really hard to come up with a TV show idea right off the top of our heads.
Yeah.
Usually I sit with it for a while and I write. I'm like, okay, this is an idea. Or maybe I'll watch a show and I'll feel inspired because I'm like, I want to do kind of what they did, but not at all.
Yeah, I tend to do that same thing, but I'll watch something bad or I'll hear about something bad, and then I'm like, well, I can do that better, you know? My first, my idea was the Buzz Lightyear movie is apparently not very good. That's what I've heard.
They made some weird plot choices.
Yeah.
Involving the multiverse and time travel.
Yeah, it's odd. That's all.
Also, the way they treated Zurg is very strange.
I love Zurg. He's great. That opening bit from Toy Story 2 is honestly some of the coolest sci-fi action of children's entertainment. It's awesome. I think it's great. But I had an idea for a Buzz Lightyear show, but I haven't written it yet because it takes time to come up with these ideas, believe it or not.
Oh boy, we're not doing a Buzz Lightyear show. This is new IP we got to do for these.
Of course, this is brand new IP. How about, usually what I do with these episodes, I just look at something in front of me and I come up with an idea about that. What if there was a seagull? And that seagull...
There's a seagull in front of you?
I mean, I have a window, and in the window I can see a bunch of seagulls flying about. And on
let's think about this strategically, all right?
Yeah.
So the last episode I did was this lawyers thing, so we can't do courtroom drama.
Of course.
Sea of Forever was before that, so that's sort of like...
That is,
we can't do pirates. We haven't done in a while.
Ooh.
We haven't done space since Astronaut Sauce. And that was 5 episodes ago. The people are feeling drained from their space adventures.
People want space. Everyone loves space, except for people
with no soul. Really, this show is us just waiting until we're allowed to do space again, because we feel... I don't know about you, but I feel like we... sometimes we overdo it, and then I'm like, all right, I can't do space. And then I'm like, okay, now I can do space again.
I feel like it's when we do, sometimes we'll do 3 space episodes in a row without even meaning to. And then I'll be like, oh my God, we have to wait 10 episodes before we can do space again.
Yeah.
So, but space...
You gotta space them out.
Yeah. Oh, exactly. You clever dog. But space is the endless, it's an endless sea of opportunity for excellent sci-fi adventure to happen. Or even fantasy adventure, if you want to do a weird... You know what I've been thinking about recently? Weird sci-fi pseudo-technological religions. Because I've been watching The Mandalorian, and if you know anything about Mandalorians, they're all about
guns
armor.
Are my religion.
Yeah, guns are his religion, and he's got his helmet and stuff. And I always like that in movies and TV shows when it's like, well, this piece of technology has been around for 500 years or 5,000 years. So obviously some sort of religious connotations are going to develop around it. In 2,000 years, Steve Jobs will probably be seen as some sort of minor deity.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm talking about the future, man.
I hope you don't actually think that, because I don't think that's probable at all.
There's a resurgence coming. I feel it. Once Tim Cook kicks the bucket and they get some boring dude
Charlie's just saying this because he's got a load of Steve Jobs merchandise he's trying to offload.
Yeah, exactly. Well, yeah. I have a lot of black turtlenecks that I need to get rid of.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I think we should do something around a technological religion set in the far future where there's like they're taking all sorts of mind-altering hallucinogens and then like getting in VR, and that's like their spirit journey and all that sort of stuff. I think that'd be cool. But that's just really a concept for an episode, but in a sci-fi future.
So, okay, I'm following you a little bit. So we've got weird religions in this way out in space, and picture nowhere near Earth. We're far out there, this civilized universe. So maybe our character is part of one of these religions. It's like a cult or something.
Yeah.
And he or she is just getting out.
Okay.
Like just getting out of the cult. Maybe it's like the show is like Breaking Amish, but it's a space cult religion.
I love that title. That can't be the title of the show, obviously, but it's not like the Amish. Because it's already a
show. Breaking Amish is a TV show.
Is it? Really?
Yeah, or was. It doesn't exist anymore.
Lame. I still love that title.
Breaking Amish was a show where like it was people that were leaving the Amish, belief system, whatever. Lifestyle.
Yeah, they want to be cool. They don't want to be Luddites anymore. They want to have iPhones and stuff.
Yeah, and so that could be kind of a jumping off point. We could have this character. His name is Otter.
Yeah, Otter Clementon.
And we can call him Otto for short. Otter Clemons.
Yeah.
Otter Clemons. His name's Otto for short. And he just left some cult religion. Let's make it weird, but not too weird,
Yeah.
So
they sleep by, they have big holes in the ground, and they sleep by like standing in the holes, and the only thing that sticks out of the ground is their heads. And that's how they sleep at night. So if you walk out into the field at night, you'll just find a bunch of heads sticking out of the ground.
Yeah. And maybe they travel space in like Viking ships, space Viking ships.
Yeah, and you have to it's like being forced. It's the draft, but instead of fighting, you have to be a Roman, and they just row their way across space.
Oh, you mean row person?
Yeah,
not Roman still.
Oh no, not a Roman, like a row man.
They have to row their way across space. It makes sense, all right? It's just don't worry about the physics. Right?
Yeah, it's fucking science, bro. They're creating They're creating kinetic energy in order to, create a negative.
Charlie, don't try to explain it. You don't know what you're talking about.
Pulse
None of what you're saying makes
that pushes them through space. It does.
Just don't explain it. Stop trying to explain it. If you explain it, it gets worse because people realize how stupid you are.
Hey, people already knew that.
The explanations that people will give online about this show are way better than whatever in-universe explanation you could come up with.
We need to get that scientist who's in too many TV shows to
Neil
fact
deGrasse
check.
Tyson.
Yeah, we need to get him to do all the science for us.
Okay. Anyway, so space Vikings, they sleep with their heads poking out. They are against any form of futuristic technology. And what I mean by that is technology that looks futuristic. They're okay with anything as long as it looks old. Okay. That's why they have the Viking ships.
They can
all their weapons
space,
are like swords and axes and stuff like that.
What if they're
except they shoot lasers and stuff, or they have like laser grids over them or something.
Maybe it's like they hold it like a sword and it's like two hands, but it just shoots a laser out of the hilt, and that's what kills them. They don't even use the blade.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that would be good. And then we can have Otto. He he wants to escape. Maybe he wants to escape for a very silly naive, selfish reason, like maybe some girl. It's like, oh, you're
girl.
pretty.
I don't know if I'd put that down as naive and selfish. Like, it's a love story.
Maybe not selfish.
So he lives on this boat, right? And he stops on the islands and buries his head. And what should we call these people? Like the technophobes or something?
That's good, technophobes.
Technophobes,
or maybe like the what were the? What
it's like a Nordic thing.
Yeah,
the
Nordic.
The
Nulls. The Nordocks. Nordocks. Yeah.
The Nordocks.
All
right, so the Nordocks. He's a Nordock. Otto the Nordock. I'm picturing him as kind of like a scrawny kid.
Yeah.
But
he's fixing all the ships. He's fixing the sword guns. He's like
the engineer of the ship. So he's got more understanding of the technology that's a part of the thing, and he's very interested in technology, and that's probably one of the reasons he wants to leave.
Yeah,
is because he's interested in the tech, but they restrict him so much because they've got to put on this like fake aesthetic, and it's totally pointless because they're all hypocrites because they're like, well, we're not using the technology that they're using, like, but you are, but you're just hiding it.
Yeah, it's just worse. It's just, wood plating on an otherwise, comparable ship. And maybe he's like, we start the show out with like, the Nordocks land in like a modern port. And they're not happy about it, but they need repairs, damn it, because they got into a scuffle with space pirates or something.
Yeah.
And then they get there and, they have Otto leading the repairs, and he's got a few like droids, but they're only like they look like giant. Like,
they're made out of wood.
Yeah, they look like trash cans, that you would see in the street. They're made out of wood, and they've got like
barrels and buckets and stuff.
Yeah, that sort of thing. And then he sees like a guy using a tool that would make his job like 1,000 times harder. And
easier, you mean?
Yeah, easier. Not harder. That would be dumb.
1,000 times harder.
1,000 times easier, and that's like kind of the first time you really see him start to like be like, man, living here sucks.
You could start it off. We could have this cascading, right? Because we have to have multiple instances.
Yeah.
So you can have him complaining about, when they get into the fight, complaining about how like their weapons are, barely strong enough. We lose so many people because, we're fighting with like inferior weapons, and then they land outside the city despite desperately needing repairs because they can't go inside into the dockyard because then they'll be like, we don't want to be repaired at the dockyard because we're not spaceships, we're a Viking ship. They like land in the ocean or something outside, and they're like, okay. He's like, come on, this is ridiculous. And so he has to go in there, get the materials, and come back out. And then he sees someone using a tool that's way more competent than his. So he's got like 3 big hits that are like, okay. Yeah.
Maybe I
can't stand this life. And the person using the tool, by the way, should be the love interest.
Oh yeah, 100%.
So if we could make it, it's gotta be different from him, right? So
Cadri
it has to be someone that's
Dekoti. Cadri Dekoti, that's her name.
Cadri Dekoti.
Yeah,
and so Cadri is like so he's like from this warrior culture, but he's like an engineer and doesn't really fit into it. So maybe we can make her the opposite. So she's like a part of like an engineering guild, but she doesn't really like, she's not really too into it. And she's more into like the warrior side of things.
Maybe her family has like, her family is like the, industrial leaders in like inventing new engines and like perfecting, different forms of space travel. And so she's like, I just want to punch guys and join the, Imperial fleet and, feel the weakness in my enemies as I
She wants to be like, an adventurer and have fun and stuff.
Yeah.
And so she's, what was her name again? I forgot.
Cadri Dekoti.
That wasn't it. Cadri Dekoti.
Cadri Dekoti.
Dekoti.
Yeah.
Cadri Dekoti. And I forgot our protagonist's name. Did we give him a name?
Otto,
that was it. Otto.
Something. His name is Otter Bismarckian or something. Bismarck. Otto Bismarck.
I didn't do that. All right. Who cares? Otto and Dekoti. Right. We'll call her Dek for short.
Yeah, Dek. That's good. That's a good sci-fi name.
So Otto and Dek. So Otto, he sees Deck using a better tool. Maybe she comes over to him actually, and she offers to help, and he's like, "No, I can't. They won't let me." And she's like, "But it'll be so much easier." And so he like gives in, and they like work on the ship together, and that's their first sort of like bonding moment. And that's where he sort of falls in love with her.
Maybe the entire rest of the crew is out like hunting, but they're just like pillaging a nearby farm.
Yeah,
just like real Vikings. They feel like we will out to collect food, and they've just like pillaged and destroyed a nearby village. It's like, yep, they're bad people through and through. Not good.
And so Otto and Deck, they they're working on the ship, but then we need to have a moment where it's like a no turning back. So they're working on it. And do you think people should come back and see them, and that's the big no turning back moment, or should he make the decision himself?
I think, how about this? Deck has some previously unrevealed like criminal ties. Maybe not like serious crimes, but she's like in debt for something. And so she starts getting, she can see the guys who are, she's in debt to, and they're chasing her down, or they're coming to him. So she goes up to and begs Otto, please, 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 we've fixed your ship up, I really like you, please get me out of here, or else these guys are gonna kill me.
She's like, we're friends now, like, come on, you gotta help me out, you gotta let me stow away. And she's like, I can't, like, we don't let, Nordocks get on the ship.
Nordocks get on the ship. Yeah.
And she's like, please, and I'm like, I need to get away. And so maybe they do this at like the they're in the city at this point.
Yeah.
And they have a nice epic chase where they get away. And he stows her away on the ship, and they fly off.
And then they fly off, and just as like they're just in time as the ship is beginning to take off. They're like, oh, where have you been, Otto? Get on. And he's just like he's got a trunk, and he's like, this will bring us great,
Yeah, he's got one of the barrels that the droids was in, and she's in it now.
Yeah.
And she's like in there with the small robot droid thing. Just squeezed in.
Yeah.
And so they escape.
And then maybe later in the series it can be revealed that she's not actually in debt to anyone. Those were her father's men, because he doesn't approve of her living out with the peasants because their family's so rich.
Yeah, they're like a part of the trade guilds.
Yeah, they're like part of the galactic,
it's like
fleet. They're instrumental to the power of the Imperial fleet.
Oh wow, you're putting her really high. I was just saying she's like, her dad's like a rich merchant. He like invented space hammers.
I was thinking that her dad is more similar to, you remember Rogue One? You remember the Mads Mikkelsen?
Yeah, that's not nearly as high as what you just said. He just built the weapon. That's all he did. He helped with the science. He's just some science guy.
But he's one of those guys. But he didn't turn good. He's still evil, and he's like, I just want to be evil. He's like a.
Damn, you're making him evil. Okay.
I'm making him.
We're just saying he's just a guy, and he's like worried about his daughter. It's like a family business. So it's like him and his wife. They're like the heads of this. Like trading organization.
Yeah.
And they, they're just, casual everyday merchants, but they're not like, important people in the galaxy, because then you got to make them intrinsically part of the plot line.
Okay, fair enough. He could still be a bad guy. And still,
we could talk about this when we figure out what the plot is.
Yeah, that's good. They get on the ship, and she's stowed away. He brings her food, sneaks her food for a couple of days.
Yeah, and they've got to get exposed though, right? That's the whole point. We can have
like somebody who's jealous of him because he gets treated well by he gets treated nicely by the chieftains because he's an engineer, and this other guy is, this guy's like, he's not strong. He doesn't have the qualities that we look for in our people. He's a weakling. He does not know the pride of battle. He does not, he's not cut down enemies. I like where
this is going. So we can have this like upstart figure, this like warrior, who is kind of constantly challenging the chief. We'll make the chief's name
Grundar.
Chief Grundar. So Chief Grundar is in charge of the fleet. He's nice to Otto. Otto's like his little buddy. And he's sort of grooming Otto to be the next chief because he thinks he's smart.
Yeah.
And maybe Chief Grundar is kind of interested in progressing the Nordocks. He wants them to go above and beyond their current technological restraints. But the antagonist, this upstart, physically tough and strong guy, let's call him
Worshin Bisk.
Let's make it a girl. Let's name her.
Oh yeah, you're right. Fiona.
Bateria. That's good. She doesn't need a last name. We're not going to remember the last names. We're coming up with this on the top of our head.
It doesn't matter.
Shit. So Bateria is like, she's this figure that's against the progress and wants to keep them as these tough, strong, but they're kind of stuck in the past with these
rules that don't make any sense.
Rules. Yeah.
Maybe we can.
We have this conflict going back and forth, and eventually I feel like it has to resolve itself with Bateria. It's revealed that he is a stowaway, right? Mm-hmm. And Chief Gundar is like, protects Otto, and that's the final straw.
Yeah.
Bateria is like, you're protecting him. He is a stowaway. He's broken the ethics of our people, and she kills Gundar. And we have like this, epic escape with
secret escape. Maybe Deck.
As like the fighting's going on between the Gundar people and like the Bateria people, Deck and Otto have to like sneak out using a rowboat and escape into space. And now Otto, like Gundar's like last effort is to like get them to escape.
Maybe how about like they know she rats on Otto and he gets imprisoned, but Deck is managed to escape the people, and she's like hiding out on the ship, and she witnesses Gundar being murdered, and she's like, oh shit. And then we can have like a sort of morality moment where she figures out how to use the escape pods or rowboat escape pod situation, and like she's about to leave, but then she's like, they're definitely gonna kill Otto, and he saved my life. And so we have this moment where it's like, is she gonna go back for him, or is she just gonna leave and save her own skin? But then she does go back for him, and like they have the secret escape as like there's a battle between the two factions, and they're just like dodging and weaving through the sword swipes and the like laser blasts and they get on a rowboat and manage to escape, and then they get like winged by what was her name? What was the upstart's name? Bisk?
Bateria.
Bateria. Like Bateria uses a huge crossbow and like wings their ship, so they can't wings the rowboat, so they can't like last for much longer, and that gives us a little bit of urgency leading into the next episode. Is that like
they crash on the nearest planet. And it's a desert planet, and they go to Obi-Wan Kenobi, and they say, "You're our only hope."
Yeah, and he's like okay, "Fuck off," and he stabs them both with lightsabers, and they're dead.
So they have to crash on a planet because they've been damaged. So they crash on a planet. They're being pursued by the Nordocks. Bateria, she's the new chief, and she wants to kill Otto because he threatens her power, and also because she hates him. Yeah, and also because she hates the Deck because she's like this upstart who was on their crew, this outsider. I said upstart, but I'm an outsider. Who's on their boat, and she's like, "You've soiled we got to do like all these cleansing rituals now."
Yeah, because we let an outsider.
It's a pain in the butt, and all those oils we got to get.
Yeah, all these special oils and herbs, and maybe it's like she sends a dispatch of the like toughest warriors she has to chase them down, because she needs to go back to a home planet, like one of the Nordock's like planets that they've seeded, to recruit a new crew and like register with the Nordock like government that she has taken this ship, because maybe
she's usurped Gundar.
Yeah, maybe we can it could be a funny episode where she's basically doing like the space Viking version of the MVA, the DMV, and she's just like, and she's like, but they're all like Vikings, and they've all got like.
And they're
Viking
like, well,
things.
we can't change your plates unless unless Gundar is present to sign off. She's like, I killed Gundar. It was a usurpation. We have the proper documentation for this. We should be able to get this through. She's like, I'm sorry. I need a Title 452. And I need Gundar's SSN card.
And his heart.
And his heart.
It's like, I got his heart and I got the N92. But what about this SSN card? It's like, here's what you need to do, sweetie. Go down, and then it just cuts. And it's just like, oh god, fuck me, this sucks.
Okay, and so they crash on the planet. I feel like we need more characters,
Yeah.
Because it can't just be them.
It can't just be two of them. They'll like drive each other crazy.
So should
drive us crazy.
I'm seeing them as like our two main people, but we need like a Han Solo figure, that's sort of like outside person who like helps them, but isn't super up for it.
And he's like, all your space, destiny bullshit. That's all a bunch of hooey. Because maybe there could be talk of some destiny, because all the space shows need destiny. So
but now they feel like they're sort of united in this. They're not at this point. They're not united, but Otto wants to go back. I feel like this is where the show's going, right? Otto wants to go back and defeat Bateria.
Yeah.
Right. Because that's the big moment. His like father figure is dead. He's got to convince. At the moment, Dak is like the Han Solo figure in A New Hope, where she doesn't feel like she's connected to this really, and she just wants to get her stuff and move on.
Yeah.
That's like morally she's like that. That's what I'm saying. But we still need that other person who can provide the.
Who's not directly tied into the inciting incidents.
Yeah, and we need her to somehow be one to help him out now. Yeah. We also need some other characters.
Maybe we have like maybe they land on like a desert or on like a jungle moon, and it's this thick swampy jungle that's got like a huge river that runs all through it, and there's like this backwoods tribes that have developed on the river, and there's one city, but it's like this tiny little burg. So we have the episode is them riding down the river, and they like fight off a giant anaconda,
giant monsters,
that sort of thing.
They're arguing too, like he's saying that we should go back and we need to take back the ship and to help the other Nordocks. And she's like, nah, I mean, that's your thing, man. I was just in it for the ride. He's like, but I saved you. And it's like, yeah, and I saved you. We're even now, okay? There's nothing else between us.
And he's like,
like sad because he loves her, and she like doesn't give a shit because she's like, all right, he's some freaky Nordock kid. I don't want to mess with this loser.
Doesn't even know what TV is.
Yep.
He's never even watched Game of Thrones. Are you kidding me? He doesn't know the insane twists and turns. Doesn't even know Ross and
Rachel get together at the end.
Do they? Yeah, they do.
Friends?
I forgot.
Are you serious?
I forgot.
Dude, that's the whole show is them getting together.
They should make an episode of Friends now, with all of the characters now, and they all hate each other. That would be funny. It
was called The Reunion.
No, but that's not. No, it should be at like Joey's will reading, and they're the only people who are left in his will. And everyone's
divorced.
Yeah, everyone's divorced. They all hate each other, and it turns out at the very end, Joey wasn't dead. He's still alive, and he's like, "Gotcha!" And they all beat him up. And that's the final shot. All right, back to this show. And they've got a fun like captain who's like a robot captain who's taking them on a ferry down the river, and he's like explaining everything. He's like a C-3PO style. He knows a bunch of languages, but he's got a hat and like he's kind of busted up.
Yeah, I imagine him kind of looking like a boxy trash can, all rusted.
Yeah, metal
obviously.
But
he's got a little captain's hat on, like not like a sailor's captain hat. You know what I mean? Not like a pirate captain hat.
Oh yeah, 100%. It's like a Navy captain hat.
Yes.
That he's kind of tilted to the side, but he's like Otto is super enamored with him because he's the first piece of like modern-ish technology that he's been allowed to interact with.
He's the first piece of artificial intelligence.
For sure. And he's like, my god.
He had the other robots, but those did exactly what he said. And this is like, this thing actually is intelligent and understands. And
it can make decisions. And that's like, it's like crazy to him. He's like, whoa. And then they get to I think, end of episode 3. they get to the village, or they get to the city, and it's just this like dusty or muddy, gross backwater, and they bed in for the night, and like we end it with them like they've just had an argument about what they're gonna do, and she's like, well, after we get off this shithole, I never want to see you again. You've brought nothing but like insanity in my life. I'm just gonna go off and start my adventures. I owe you nothing. He's like, fine. I wish I had never saved you in the first place, and that sort of thing. And then they go to sleep. Episode 4 starts, and they're both like begrudgingly looking for a captain together to take them off the planet. And that's when the Nordock like hit squad shows up, and they like capture Dek in order to like draw out Otto, and she's like, he's not gonna come for me, because I was...
Okay, wait, are you sure it should be like that, or should it be Otto gets captured and then it's Dek's moment, it's Dek's Han Solo moment, where she has to, like, despite everything she said, she has to be like, all right, I have to, I don't care about his cause, but like I can't just leave him. He did do stuff for me, so. But
I feel like she already had one of those moments in episode 2. I feel like Otto, he's definitely had his feelings hurt way more in the most recent episode, so I think he should. But then
she can't get captured by the Nordock people. She has to be captured by her, by either the debt people / father thing. Because it can't be connected to his thing, because then he has to save her, because it's his...
Yeah, you're right.
It's his fault / his, quest that he's doing anyway.
Yeah, you're right. So maybe
she's got to get captured by the...
by her father's agents.
This could be the real... Her father's, her father and mother's, killed people. And then it's kind of revealed through that. It's like the local chapter of the union. So maybe, let's say her father and mother are like the co-presidents of the union. Mm-hmm. Of like the trade... let's say the
trade officers union or whatever,
the engineers union.
Yeah,
it's like they're not upper class people. They're like the captains of the lower class. They're the leaders of this trade union. So they're not completely terrible people. Don't want to make them awful. Mm-hmm. And so
you don't. I want to make it.
They get captured. Awful. Yeah, you do. And then no one's good, and no one wants to watch the show because no one's likable.
Yeah, I know. That's why I need you here to make my. But it's a good misdirect,
because then she'll get captured, and he's like, "I've got to save her, Otto." And he's like, And
he hires this captain.
He hires the. Should it be the robot again?
No, I think the robot should get killed by like a giant sea monster right at the end, like a giant lake monster, just like destroys the boat, and. That's the noise Otto makes. He's like, oh. But Dek doesn't care because she's met 1,000 AIs before. She's like, I don't give a shit. He's like, oh, but my friend, no. And then just a new one like plops out of like a vending machine, and like a new ferry boat with the exact same robot like goes by. That's how I think that guy should end. But
okay, here's what we could do then. Mm-hmm. The vending machine, right? But it transfers the consciousness of the robot every time. Mm-hmm. So the new vending machine robot, he can go recruit that.
Yeah. Okay.
That could be fun.
That could be fun.
He's like, I need, because then we have like some continuity with the characters. Mm-hmm. And this character, the robot, he can say like, oh, we didn't finish the journey. You promised to protect your passengers for the entire journey. We have to go save her. And the robot's like, yes, okay.
That would be good.
We gave the robot a name though. Let's call it
Mr. Suck. Mr. Sook.
You're terrible.
Mr. Slumper.
Watt. Mr. Watt.
Mr. Watt. Like a Watt. And like
Watt. Mr. Watt.
And like Bot.
We should have some what jokes. We'd be like, what? And he'd be like, what? What do you need?
Yeah.
Like, no, I wasn't saying your name. I was saying what?
What?
Well, yeah. What do you need?
Yeah, exactly. Like that classic joke.
Mm-hmm. Who's on first?
What was I going to say?
What's the guy's name on first? No, what's on second?
Who's on first? That's what I said. Yeah. Classic joke by, I think,
Abbott and Costello.
Abbott Costello, yeah. But I want to have the captain the like Han Solo style smuggler captain guy be a chimp with a cigar and an eye patch.
Damn, Charlie constantly going for monkeys.
I love monkeys.
It shouldn't be a monkey. You always do monkeys.
You're
it should
right.
be some other animal.
Dolphin.
No.
How about a cockatoo?
How about a koala bear?
I like a koala bear. And they've got two thumbs.
Too.
I went to the...
Koala bear with an eye patch.
Yeah, and a cigar habit.
No.
But they're so big, they can't fit in his mouth, so he can only have them, like... He's got to hold them with both hands.
We can't always have our tough character have eye patches and cigars or anything about it. It has to be something different.
Yeah, maybe he chews bubblegum, and he's constantly blowing bubbles.
Like, leather jacket, bubblegum.
Yeah, there you go. I went to the Natural History Museum recently.
Well, maybe a trench coat.
Ooh,
that's way too long for him and it drags behind him.
Yeah, but it looks like a cape because he always he's hanging from the dangling wires of his ship, so he's just constantly jumping about, hopping a boot.
And he's got a name that's too cool for what he is. His name's Drake.
Drake Steele, Private Eye, Smuggler, all around space
so maybe
badass.
our guy, he recruits the robot Watt. Yeah. And he's like, Watt, I need, how we gotta save her? Mm-hmm. And Watt's like, well,
I've got these guns. And he just pulls out 1,000
Pulls out a bunch of guns. Say, but how do we get there? And, they need to recruit the captain, because maybe the people flew away on a ship. So they gotta recruit a captain to follow them back to the original planet where they'll, have the conversation with the parents. Mm-hmm. So they need to recruit the koala bear,
how about
Drake Steele?
Okay.
They go into a bar and he's mysterious in the shadows.
Yeah.
And he looks way more intimidating as soon as they get close. And you're like, wait, are you a koala bear?
Mostly.
And maybe he pulls out a knife. He's like, call me a koala bear one more time.
One more time, mate.
One more time. And he's like, you're a koala bear? And he's like, yes, I am.
And you're Australian? He's like, what's Australia?
What's Australian?
I think, okay, how about this for the koala bear design? He's got the big long trench coat, but it's always closed, and it's subtly hinted that he's got a giant snake second half that he uses to get around.
Charlie.
But we only see his top.
It's a koala bear. He's cute and adorable. But that's the joke.
What if
he's a tough guy, but he's cute and adorable.
What if
that's
he's got
the joke.
spider legs?
No, again, he's got to be cute and adorable. That's the whole joke. We can't make him disgusting and terrible.
We only see the disgusting, terrible thing at the end.
No, but see, then you ruin the joke, which is that he's an adorable tough guy.
Yeah, that is good. I like adorable tough guys.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe he gets robot legs in the second half of the series.
God, killing me.
Never.
All right, so they recruit him.
Yeah.
With the money they don't have. Mm-hmm. Maybe they take out a loan or something.
Maybe they lie to him and say that she's a princess of a faraway.
She'll get paid a bunch. Yeah. That's essentially the same how they trick Han Solo.
Exactly. Princesses are worth a lot.
And so, or maybe he sells his old Viking helmet. That could be a big moment for him.
He hasn't taken it off yet. And he does, and you reveal
big
he's
moment
got...
where he gives up his old stuff for this person, and it sort of shows that he cares about her more than his past.
And maybe he arms up, and he's now he looks like a regular space badass.
Yeah,
and he can have bright orange hair.
Bright orange hair.
Yeah, bright orange curly hair.
And so Otto, Drake Steele. Or maybe his name should be sillier. I don't know. Should it be sillier?
Draken
Mr.
Steele.
Cuddles.
But Mr. Cuddles is not silly enough, if anything.
No, but should his real name be cute and adorable, but he somehow morphs it?
Yeah.
So his real name is his real name is Fluffy Cuddles.
Yeah.
But he goes by
Death Cutter.
No, but it needs to be a derivation of Fluffy Cuddles.
Yeah, he says that's how you pronounce it in my language. What language? Australian. That's how we speak. Didn't know what Australia was 10 seconds ago. Now I do, and I also know it's my language, so shut up.
So he goes by Captain Cutter, but his real name is Fluffy Cuddles.
Yeah, that's good.
Cutters. And we could pretend it's an accent thing.
Yeah, Cutter.
It's like, oh, it's pronounced Cutter. No, it says Cuddles here very clearly.
He stabs him.
No.
Just a little stab right in the gut. You'll be fine. So there's a princess. Let's go. And they all go to save the princess. And he uses his big laser cannons and he blasts them away on his ship. And then they get down there and they're doing a bunch of fighting, but mostly it's just Watt doing the fighting.
Watt's got all the guns. Kola Bear's running around with a knife stabbing people.
Yeah. But Watt's like General Grievous. He's got like 6 arms and they've all got blasters.
No, maybe they shouldn't be fighting, because I was thinking the big reveal is because he doesn't know yet, right? Mm-hmm. That because Otto doesn't know that it's actually just her parents.
Yeah.
So he could burst in. We get in there and it's just like her sitting down eating dinner with them, and he's like, "What the hell is this?
Who the hell are these people?" And then the koala bear, and they have like a heartfelt conversation. It's like, "These are my parents. I've come back to them. I've realized I'm happy now." You know, and she's like, you know, I don't want to see you again. And she's like holding back tears. And obviously we can have a scene in between where it's like she's being threatened by her parents. It's like, if we ever see you around this boy again, he won't be alive for much longer. She's like, go away.
All right, now we're getting a little ridiculous, right? Because they're coming in with this crew stuff, so that wouldn't make... I feel like that doesn't make much sense, right? Story-wise, because they're getting there. We can't have a second misdirect of her, you know... I feel like they have to get her out of there. But maybe, you know, I don't want to just do like the typical rescue story, or like the typical like, oh, she's doing what her parents said story. I would like they get there and we have like, if you saw the Suicide Squad, it's like they're about to save Harley Quinn.
Yeah.
From the jail, and she breaks out right then and there. Mm-hmm. So we could do that. We could do like as they get in, they get up there, they're all ready to go in, guns a-blazing.
Yeah. And
the doors burst open. She's covered in blood, and she's like, all right, let's go.
She's like, she's got a sword that's like twice the size.
She's our badass warrior. She's supposed to be tougher than the rest of them.
That is true. But I was thinking she's like, get out of here, you know, like Lassie. And then just as Otto's about to turn around, the koala jumps in and just starts stabbing the dad in the neck. And she's like, oh shit, we should get out of here.
All right, we don't want to kill her parents.
No.
How are we going to do this? Because her parents aren't necessarily evil in this situation, because they just want their daughter back. So they can't kill them or any of the people that work for them, right?
Oh, you can. They're just... Unless our characters are not very nice.
Then they're not likable.
But it's like in the Suicide Squad, when they kill all of the freedom fighters.
Yeah, but they do that by accident. They don't do it because... They do it because they thought they were bad.
Yeah, and so do our characters. They think that these are like mercenaries who've kidnapped their friend, but actually it's just her family's private, you know, security. And like he jumps in and the koala starts stabbing the dad, and they're just like, no, come here, Cuddles. And they just pick him up, and like he starts swinging the knife wildly, and Otto holds him at like arm's length, and he's like, we're just sorry, the dad's still clearly alive. He didn't get stabbed anywhere that would leave permanent damage. He's like, really sorry about that, man. We're see you guys later. And the daughter's like, that's so cool, I want to go hang out with those guys.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't see it.
I think yours is more accurate to the characters we've developed so far, because she's very bullheaded and...
Yeah, because I feel like that just destroys her character. It doesn't make any sense, because she's like just this... She's supposed to be this tough warrior.
But she can't kill all of her family, like, security guard.
I know. I'm trying to think here. Maybe she just beats the crap out of them.
Yeah.
You know? Her fists are bloody. She didn't kill anyone. Mm-hmm. She just beat her way out of there.
Yeah, just punches all around. You just like have a flashback. And
okay, so here's how we can do both, I think. Mm-hmm. So they break in. She's having dinner with the family. The koala bear jumps at the dad. Otto catches him. He's like, I'm sorry. And the koala bear's trying to knife him. He's like, I thought you said go. I thought this was the signal. Aren't I supposed to stab him? I'm like, no, sorry.
At the beginning of the episode, the koala bear, or at the beginning of the raid, the koala bear's like, if we get in a situation where we're pinned, the code word is shout. And it's just like, that's not a very unique
Kola Bear took that as like, oh, you were shouting, so that's why I thought we were supposed to go.
Yeah, you shouted. That means go. That's the code word.
That's what you said. No, I meant say shout.
What? That's fucking stupid. Why would I say shout ever? For the code word.
So what we can do from here, right, is like, she makes it clear. So Dek makes it clear that she's saying like, oh, guys, I'm fine. No, I'm with my family. But she's like blinking a bunch, and she's like clearly giving a signal, right? And maybe it's in like Morse code. She's blinking, and the robot picks it up, and they leave. And the Morse code was like, rescue, meet me at the back window at 4. And so they're like waiting there, guns ready. They're like, all right, what are we gonna do? And then she like jumps out of the tower, her fists are bloody, and she's like, all right, I beat up half of them. We got 10 minutes before everyone else gets here. Let's go.
Yeah.
And this is like, she's like thankful to them, obviously, because they're her ride out. And so that's her like character change moment where she realizes that these people care about her too.
And then they get on the ship, and they're like, all right, now that we're all together and we finally got the crew together in the 4th episode or 5th episode of the series, let's start doing adventures. I got a job set up in, I don't know, think of
well, they still got the main quest line, which is to attack the Nordock people, and that's what Otto wants to do, right?
Yeah.
So Otto wants to go back there, but we still need a reason. Robot's sort of in for whatever, I think, you know? Robot's just friends with Otto now.
Yeah.
He's good. We don't have a reason for Mr. Kola Bear, Mr. Cuddles, to be involved in this.
And he's like, well...
So he gets paid, right? He gets paid through Dek. And so he's like, all right, well, I'm out of this. And like, well, we get a ride. Are you going to help us? Come on, we'll pay you more to take on Nordock. He's like, I'm not messing with those people. Those people are crazy.
And he's just like, have you ever heard of the Nordock, the great Nordock tomb of wealth, the tomb of wealth?
He's like, did you like that helmet I gave you earlier? We can get a lot more of those if you come with us.
All of the great, treasures of Nordock trades of Nordock raids throughout the century are held there. Technology beyond your wildest dreams, forbidden to us by the ancient code, but open to you. If
I've got it.
I were in charge.
So that's what we do, right? That's how we convince him.
Yeah.
Then we have them. This is just a quick run through. We have them attack the Nordocks, and they beat Battery or whatever. And the end of the fight ultimately decides that Otto's the new captain, and he decides to do things differently. So he still keeps on Dek and the robot, Mr. Watt, and the Kola Bear. Captain Mr. Cuddles, and they're like part of this new like Nordock crew. They're like they still use the Viking ship, and that's how they go on adventures from now on. It's like the Viking ship.
Yeah.
And they have some background other Nordock characters on the ship, but they're the main principal people on it.
And then that could be season 2, is they're having like Star Trek adventures, but they're, instead of being part of the Federation, they're part of the new Nordock, coalition.
They just sort of changed the way it all works now.
Yeah, and so like maybe that series can deal with the fact that the Nordock population is exploding, because it's like it's a population of people that are extremely healthy, because they only eat like I don't think like genetic modification, that's not the word, but like all future food is like weird and recycled and kind of bad for you, and they eat just like fruits and vegetables and stuff, and so they're like they're a healthy people compared to the rest of the galaxy, and so their lifestyle and their like way of life becomes way more popular, and so it's just like dealing with the new Nordock, coalition of planets that have like adopted this way of living. Like, very good. And we can maybe have like Otto is in charge, and he's like, at first he was like, I loved having all the power and like being able to make decisions, but I'm not responsible enough to take care of an entire like vast empire of people. That's not something I can do. So, and he has to find a new leader for the Nordocks. Yeah, that could be fun. That could be a fun season 2. Right, Jake?
Yeah, I know. I like it. Yeah.
All right, cool. Well, thank you, everyone. What do we have a series title for this? Do you think? Viking Space
Viking
Attack.
Space Show.
Viking Space Attack. How about Space Attack?
Nordia. Breaking. What is it called again? Nordic, whatever. The Nordocks. Breaking Nordock.
Breaking Nordock. Maybe auto deck, like an automatic deck.
But Breaking Nordock goes back to our roots, which is breaking homage.
Oh yeah, you're right.
That's the best.
You're
Breaking
right. That
Nordock.
is better. All right. Well, thank you everyone for listening to our pitch for Breaking Nordock. I've been your host, Charles Lang. With me has always been my co-host, editor, producer, co-pilot, and gunner, Jacob Gloth. If you like what you heard here and you want to hear more, please give us a like, a subscribe, a follow, tell your friends, tell your family, tell your new lover that you've met while repairing your Luddite family spaceship. And remember, folks, don't ever touch a stove while it's on, and we're the best podcast on the internet. Those are the 2 facts of the world.
I don't know. I like a lot more podcasts. But
I do too. I like a lot of podcasts. You listen to The Last House on the Left? Me neither.
No.
But I have a lot of merch. So you can judge a podcast's quality by its merch, right? Okay,
yep,
good.
That's how it works.
I'm just as long as I was getting that right. All right, thank you, everyone, and sweet dreams, oh sweet children.